Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone watching. I'm your host, the Report of the Week, and welcome to this newest video. As I was kind of setting up the scene and, getting pumped up, getting ready for this, I was trying to think, what is a way that I can make just a brilliant, masterful, artistic, captivating lead-in. And I thought to myself, there isn't. The title gives it all away, and how about we just get right down to business, right down to the basics, and then if I just want to go on some long-winded tangent about whatever, then we'll go from there, right? I made a second channel. I did indeed. I made a second YouTube channel, and I'm just going to talk about, what it is, how you can find it, and what you're going to find on it. You might be saying, but why Reviewbrah? Why did you make a second YouTube channel? Did you finally did you just snap? Are you just feeling that adventurous? Or was this some sort of decision that was well thought out and well planned? Or did you just have one too many last night and were just feeling spontaneous, right? What exactly is all this this mystery behind the second channel? All right, so here's what we have. You know how in most of my recent videos, even if you watch regularly or infrequently, probably for the last year, you know how I've promoted my radio show, right? You know how I said, well, if you're interested in the radio show, check it out on SoundCloud or TuneIn or on shortwave or whatever. And I always tried to do that as a reminder and a means of advertising, but I know it would be much to the annoyance of some people watching. What I decided to do is I said to myself, all right, the media landscape in 2019 is, it's changing. And whether I like it or not, I have to understand that. I have to understand that it's changed. And that it's a different world out there. That, yes, having something exclusively on SoundCloud and shortwave will reach an audience, but there are better ways to maximize that, get that potential out there. Because a lot of people have contacted me and they've said, look, I think you should make this show into a podcast. And I said, you know what? All right, I'm finally going to do it. And I did. So with that, I am pleased to announce the premiere of my second YouTube channel. You could find it at youtube.com/VORW Podcast. That's just one word, VORW Podcast. And that's it, just youtube.com/VORW Podcast. I just want you to subscribe to it right now. Check it out. And this is going to serve as a resource toward distributing my podcast, getting it out there on a wider platform and to a wider, broader audience. A lot of people, who have been with the channel for a long time or who haven't, have just been new viewers. You might remember back when I used to do the VORW shows on this very channel. And first and foremost, VORW, it stands for Voice of the Report of the Week. That's just what it stands for, okay? So that's out of the... Now you know what it means, it doesn't... Whatever. You know what that stands for. I used to do the VORW shows on this very channel, and you can find it, actually. I still have a whole playlist of these shows. I probably did over 100 of them. And a lot of people thought that they were just really soothing and, relaxing and calming. And what ended up happening over the years is as the channel started getting two different audiences, because people were tuning in for the food reviews, and there was also a significant audience tuning in for these VORW shows, I felt that as the channel was growing rapidly, I needed to make a choice. And I decided to emphasize just the video-related content on this YouTube channel. And as a result, I kind of just took a break from doing the online VORW show. Well, time passed, and of course, with the YouTube algorithm having changed. If suddenly you take a drastic shift in content and start putting it on this one single channel, it's going to confuse a lot of viewers. You're going to be looking at this and you'll be like, what am I seeing exactly? And also it'll mess up the algorithm and everything will get thrown off. And while I had gotten back into doing radio broadcasting, I was doing it via alternate platforms. I was doing it on SoundCloud and then shortwave radio, which does reach an audience. Don't get me wrong, people still listen to it, but of course most of you tuning in on YouTube, it may not necessarily apply, and I understand that. And I wanted to make an effort to grow this show. So what I decided to do is, strip it of music. So it's just like a talk only. It's a talk show, right? It's like a podcast. It's what it really is at this point. And start getting it to as many of these platforms as I can. So the other day, I created this YouTube channel, again, VORW Podcast. And I do the show every Thursday. It's an indeterminate length. It's probably anywhere from maybe 20 minutes to an hour. And the show, as described, well, of course, by myself, but as other people have too, is just a relaxing, light entertainment program where I share my thoughts on topics big or small. Current events, social issues. I like to talk a lot about philosophy and moral subjects, but I'll also just take listener requests. I'll say, look, if there's a topic you want to hear, you can shoot me an email and maybe you'll hear me talk about it. So I'll end up talking about anything. I remember in one show a few weeks back, I was talking about vinyl records and pizzas and radio and, all sorts of topics. It's just it's a fun show that maybe provides a little bit of entertainment, insight, and perhaps perspective as well. And anyway, I'm just trying to do my best to get this out there more. Again, get it to an audience that may potentially be interested. So as a result, again, I made this YouTube channel that has about 15 or so old shows, and then the new programs are going to be uploaded every Thursday. That's just the day where, I have an upload schedule there. So every Thursday, the new podcasts are going to be uploaded at this channel. And I am also working to get the podcast on a variety of other sites. As of now, I've applied to TuneIn, where it has been accepted. So if you prefer using TuneIn, you can just go to the TuneIn app, just type in VORW, and what's going to come up right away is the VORW International Podcast. That's my show. So you could find it right now on TuneIn. Listen anytime if you like that. You could find it there. I submitted it to iTunes, so fingers crossed that it'll get approved. Hopefully it will. Got it submitted also to Spotify, to Google Podcasts, and to Stitcher. Again, all of those are awaiting approval, but, we'll hope that it goes through anyway. And I'm just really trying to do a ton of work to just get it out there to a broader audience. And one of the ways of doing so is through this second YouTube channel. So if you would like to hear my thoughts on things other than food, other than food-related topics, this is the channel for you, and I really recommend you check it out. Because again, this show, it's miscellaneous, talks about anything under the sun, really. And just a lot of people, too, have said it's relaxing, informative, and could kind of be like that ASMR type of stuff, too. And what I jokingly say it, but I mean it with sincerity, if it helps you get to sleep, more power to you. So I hope you could give it a listen. Check it out. Of course, you could still find it at soundcloud.com/VORW. But a lot of people, they said, well, I don't want to have to fiddle around with a shortwave radio, or I don't like using SoundCloud or TuneIn. Could you just upload it to YouTube or these other podcast-based sites? And that's exactly what I'm doing now. On one final note, so again, you could find the channel. I'm just going to shout the link out one more time. youtube.com/VORW Podcast. And again, please be sure to subscribe to it. And, I know everyone hates it, but enable the notifications so you know when the new podcasts are released. On one final note, if you still listen regularly on SoundCloud. Nothing really changes. I'm just still going to be keeping it going, no issues there. That's going to be the main distribution platform. If you listen in on the shortwave radio, only change is that the broadcast every Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 93.95 kilohertz, that's discontinued, and the broadcast at 8 p.m. Eastern on 4840 kilohertz are discontinued as well. So the transmissions on Saturdays are no more, but all the other shortwave broadcasts are still going out there to the audiences that still tune in via those means, because you might not think of it as so, but shortwave radio still has some life in it in 2019. And that's why I try to make sure that this show goes out via all platforms, shortwave and internet included. So thank you. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I really hope you could check out my second YouTube channel. Like I said, I think it's going to be a lot of fun for those who maybe want to delve a little more into and, see what's beyond the food reviews. Please check it out. With that said, on the subject of food reviews, I'm going to be checking out some new items from Wendy's probably coming up in a few days, so stay tuned for that. Thank you. Take care. I'm your host, the Report of the Week.